Greetings, good people, and welcome. All right, it is time for Hot Topics. Okay, you read the title, Dame Dash crashes out. I'm pretty sure most of you have seen the interview on The Breakfast Club by now. I'm going to touch on one particular part. Ice Spice, she sat down with Kiki Palmer and she gave Cardi B credit. She gave her flowers. Officer Tommy Norman, he has been set free. Okay, we got a couple of other hot topics sprinkled in between. As you are coming in, please pay your admission fee by hitting the like button and be sure to drop your comments in the comments section throughout the video. So before we get to the crash outs and the juicier topics, I wanted to bring something to your attention. All right. Now, On Site is reporting on their Instagram page that there's a new national study that was conducted in 2024, and it reveals that 1 in 5 American adults remain illiterate. I am not surprised. So let's read the little article here. The literacy crisis in the United States is deeper than many realize. A recent study conducted in 2023 and 2024 found that 1 in 5 American adults remain illiterate, while over 54% read below a sixth grade level. Okay, even more concerning, the majority of adults struggle not only with basic reading, but also with comprehension. That's where it kicks their butt. Do you understand what it is that you read? Can you articulate and regurgitate what it is that you read? Okay, meaning they cannot fully understand or apply what they read. Now, the lack of comprehension affects nearly every part of daily life. Following medical instructions, interpreting legal documents, applying for jobs, or even reading simple news articles. Boy, oh boy. Low literacy is tied directly to economic instability. And the powers that be, they know that. And that is intentional. That's why you see the numbers and the statistics in certain schools in certain areas are lower than normal, I guess. Anyway, continuing on. Economic instability, limited workforce participation, and reduced wages, with experts estimating the national cost at more than 2 trillion annually. Okay. Moving on, reading on. As reading comprehension continues to decline, the gap grows between those who can thrive in society and those who are left behind. Addressing literacy isn't just about teaching people to decode words, it's about ensuring that they can process and understand information well enough to make informed decisions for themselves and their families. This is sad. And you can see just on social media alone, if you look in the comments section of most posts on whatever social media platform, you can tell that comprehension is a really big issue for a lot of adults, or it appears they're adults, right? You don't know who's behind a lot of these social media pages. But yeah, this is definitely a crisis that has been going on for many, many years. I think in some instances and in some areas, it is intentional. Underprivileged or underserved areas definitely have high um, illiterate rates, or high rates of illiteracy. It's unfortunate. I don't mean to laugh. I'm laughing at myself. But anyway, someone says, when somebody says, I'm not reading all that, no, there are other possibilities behind that response. This might come as a surprise, but we can tell. And it's funny because it's not funny, actually. Um, when I see people get onto social media and comment things, or people post videos and people sound illiterate and they sound absolutely ignorant and dumb and they're spewing foolishness, a lot of people often laugh and encourage that. And those of us who actually point that out and say, listen, man, you're an adult. Like, you know what I'm saying? Articulate yourself, learn to articulate yourself. Oh, you're being elitist and you're being classist. So basically, the normal for any group of people should be ignorance and being illiterate and just ignorant. Whatever. I don't know. Whatever. Let me not go down that rabbit hole. Share your thoughts, guys, and let me know what you think. Okay. Are you surprised that most adults are illiterate? I'm not. Moving along. Officer Tommy Norman has been released on a $350 bond after domestic battery arrest, okay? So this is courtesy of It's On Site. So their Instagram post reads, after Tommy Norman's arrest on third-degree domestic battery charges, his wife, Rosalind, released a statement asking for privacy and prayer, okay? And it reads, like many families, we have experienced both loving memories and difficult times, but that does not diminish the love we share. We are leaning on God for strength and guidance, and we kindly ask for grace, prayers, and privacy as we move forward. What remains true is that we care deeply for one another and hold the utmost respect for the dedication and passion Tommy has for the community. You know what? I'm all right with this. I'm all right with this. What do you guys think about this statement? So someone commented, I always felt like once the police get involved in my relationship, especially when I know I didn't do anything, we done. Do you guys agree with that? Someone else commented, need to get from around shorty. She dangerous. Someone else said, I got arrested. We done, sweetheart. Child, I ain't got my contacts in, y'all. I'm not illiterate. Okay, I just want to point that out after reading that article. Okay, I get arrested. We done, sweetheart. Ain't no we. Now, do you guys feel the same way? If the authorities have to get involved in a domestic dispute between you and your partner, will you call it quits after that? I can see why people would say that. But the fact that she wrote this statement, I mean, she seems like she's willing to work it out. Here's what I would like. I want to hear from Officer Tommy. I would like to hear from Officer Tommy. Does he feel the same way? Okay. So we don't know exactly what happened, but apparently there was a domestic dispute, and it is claimed that the wife was getting ready to hit Tommy, and he blocked her hit, and he accidentally hit her in the chest. Allegedly, that's what they saying. Some people saying on Facebook that he was caught creeping and his wife confronted him about it. Who knows? All I know is Tommy Norman is free. He's been released, and everybody, wife and husband, need to keep your hands to yourself, okay? And I think we should all just mind our business and let the happy couple work it out. All right, up next, Sister Lizzo got a little something to say, okay? So Sister Lizzo basically said, she talked about how sampling laws in the music industry impact Black artists, all right? This is courtesy of the Jasmine brand, and their article reads, Lizzo is calling out inequities after just reading that illiterate article in the music industry. I could laugh at myself. In a recent interview on the $1 Million Worth of Game podcast, from what I saw, it was pretty good. You guys should check out the interview. I didn't watch the whole thing. She explained how evolving sampling laws have continued to reinforce a system that disadvantages Black artists. Okay, after highlighting legendary Black artists who paved the way for so many, Lizzo pointed out that sampling laws weren't in place to protect them, even as white performers like Elvis profited from their work. She added that those laws now exist, but to protect white artists from having their work stolen. Listen to Sister Lizzo. If this part gets cut out, y'all, then you know they got me, and I had to clip it out, okay? If it gets cut out, it's on the Jasmine Brand's Instagram page, what Lizzo said. All right? Like to hear it? Here you go.
Songs that sounded the same in the 50s. Oh my darling. All them songs, all that rock and roll that was stole from Black people. There was no sampling laws back then when you were stealing rock and roll from Sister Rosetta Tharpe and Big Mama Thornton, when you were stealing from Chuck Berry. Where was the laws back then? Why don't you give them their publishing? Elvis didn't have to give nobody publishing or nobody a percentage of his records. He ain't had to give nobody shit for Hound Dog. He got to sing Hound Dog and be bigger than the person who wrote it and sang it first.
So
but all of a sudden, when
so
hip hop,
Elvis ain't make up Hound Dog?
No
I don't have no fucking
no
idea
shade, but
what's
I'm
going.
saying the system, ain't that real funny that back in the day when Black people were creating rock and roll, all of these artists got to steal the vibe and literally steal the song bar for bar, and there were the laws didn't come in. Everybody just let it happen. But all of a sudden, when black people want to take from white rock and roll artists and remix it and make their own records, all of a sudden we have sampling laws. All of a sudden, they're getting sued. All of a sudden it's theft. Oh, it's theft now? Okay, cool.
She's right. Fun fact, in college, I took a course titled Blues to Rap, from blues to rap. And my professor was a huge blues fan, okay? He often talked about Big Mama Thornton. He talked about that movie Cadillac Records. That's how I ended up seeing Cadillac Records, because of my professor. He talked about, Little Walter, and he basically gave the story behind the characters, that the people that those characters were based off of, right? And he also talked about Ike Turner, and he showed plenty of documentaries and gave plenty of information about Ike Turner's huge contribution to rock and roll music. And she's right. A lot of white artists pretty much stole moves. Elvis Presley allegedly stole from Little Walter. He was a character in what's the movie I just said? Cadillac Records. That's who Elvis pretty much got his whole style from. And a lot of these artists would basically take, just like she said. And sampling laws weren't a thing in the past when white artists were pretty much stealing from black artists. So Lizzo know a little something, something. That was a good class, though. That was an elective. So it's one of those classes that you can choose. But I learned a lot in that course. And that professor, he was, like I said, he was very passionate about music. He played in a band for many old school acts or older acts or whatever. He went on tour with a lot of famous people. But he was very passionate about blues. But yeah, he definitely was knowledgeable. And that's how I learned about Ike Turner, beyond his negative reputation for putting his hands on Tina Turner. Prior to that, even prior to him meeting Tina Turner, his huge contribution to rock and roll. So yeah, shout out to Lizzo for a little history lesson on $1 Million Worth of Game. She putting people on game. So drop down in the comments and share if you are familiar with that. Did you guys see Cadillac Records? That movie was a really, really, really good movie. I like that movie. All right, moving along. Isis, okay? Ice Spicy, she sat down with Keke Palmer, okay? And she credits Cardi B for providing hope and inspiration to women in the rap industry. So she mentioned that under Nicki Minaj's dominance, achieving success in rap seemed unattainable. But Cardi B's success changed that perception. So let's take a look and I listen. Like to hear, here it go.
Cardi B definitely brought back that hope of girls could rap.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Because for a long time, Nicki seemed so unattainable and that's part of the lore too.
Yes.
Of why I was so obsessed, because I'm only she could do it.
So seeing Cardi was okay, especially is she from the Bronx?
She's from the Bronx,
exactly.
yeah.
She's from the Bronx. And so then you started teaching. What made you say, I'm going to take this seriously? Was there a moment or a person that you saw doing something that made you say, maybe I could do a song or this could be a career?
I feel like Cardi B definitely
Good. Give Cardi B her flowers. I don't see nothing wrong with it, but I already know that this is going to be a problem. People who don't like Cardi B and who are Team Nicki are going to find fault with this. People who are not Team Nicki or Cardi B are probably going to find fault with this. There's always, anytime Cardi B's name is mentioned or Nicki Minaj's name is mentioned, there is always some sort of clash in the comments, and people get in the comments and start arguing and all types of stuff and making allegations. She stated that's her inspiration. Some people say that she was throwing shade and complimenting Nicki. Some people say that she was complimenting Cardi and throwing shade at Nicki. When it comes to certain groups of people on the internet, they're never satisfied. It's always a problem. All right, moving along. I want to get straight into this, okay? Dame Dash made an appearance. Hold on, let me switch the screen. Dame Dash made an appearance on The Breakfast Club and he pretty much embarrassed himself, okay? I sat through the entire interview, but I didn't watch it in one take. It literally took me from 9 something this morning to about like 5 o'clock. I actually finished the last couple of minutes because I had to stop. I watched other stuff. I was doing other stuff, and I can't. I'm gonna do a standalone video and dive deeper into Dame pseudo intellect dash. This was a fool. I know he probably thinks that he chewed Charlamagne up, but he made a fool of himself. He was a fool 10 years ago when he came onto their platform. 10 years later, here he is, no growth, no evolution, just foolishness, okay? So in a sit down on the Breakfast Club, Dame Dash challenges Charlamagne's views on masculinity. Of all things for him to talk about, he kept calling Charlamagne gay. He said that he's gay. He said that he's not masculine. He said that Wendy Williams is his OG, Charlamagne's OG, meaning that he learned from Wendy Williams. He kept calling him girl. You know, it was really embarrassing. And as crazy as this is going to sound, I really feel very sorry for Dame Dash. Dame Dash is a bitter crash out. And he is someone who cannot handle failure. So he has to constantly tell you he's a boss. I don't see anything boss about Dame Dash. And I think in 2025, even 10 years ago, Dame Dash is completely out of touch with the way that the internet is used, the way for marketing. Anyway, I'll do a deep dive. So I want to kind of get into this, but I don't want to play the visual. I want to try to see if I can get away with playing the audio. I'm going to tell y'all right now, these folks at the iHeart people, they have got me a couple of times. So I'm going to announce it now. If this part of the video is missing, it means I had to cut it out. I repeat, if this part of the video is missing, I had to cut it out. All right? All right, here we go. Wish me luck.
And you know what I'm saying? I don't think you guys are.
I'm listening. Okay.
Like, your OG is Wendy Williams. My OG is sitting right here. You see him? Mm-hmm. And I'm going to tell you why he's my OG.
Now, mind you, no one was talking about masculinity whatsoever. I don't even care for Charlamagne, y'all. And Charlamagne did such a phenomenal job in this interview. I got to give him his props, man. I got to give him his props. Dame Dash wasn't winning in the insulting department. You know, when someone is losing an argument or what have you, and they're making themselves look stupid, they resort to insulting you. So this is where this came about. He called Charlamagne a girl, basically, and said he was gay. He's not masculine.
Because he killed anybody or any of those things. He just taught me how to be a better man.
Wendy, not my OG.
Can you
That's
stop?
Funny, though.
Can you stop?
Wendy Williams is your OG.
Wasn't she your boss?
Yeah, at one point.
So
yeah.
she was your.
And Dame Dash has an issue with people being people's bosses. But he's a walking contradiction. And again, he is a prime example of what bitterness can do to you. And he's 55, I think, 54. Sad, man. It's real sad. I feel sorry for him for real.
OG, she put you on, and you should give her grace, and you should also give her props out of respect.
Oh,
but because we have different trauma, like we're different. Like I'm not the kind of guy that would I'd rather get my ass whipped than run. But you're proud that it's very feminine, and you want people.
Mind you, Charlamagne is just staring at him, just unamused. Somebody like Dave, you have to let him keep talking because he's a fool. You don't argue with fools.
To listen to you, and that we want people that represent masculinity, because men need to be doing what they need to do as men. They don't need to be worried about girl stuff. Do you?
Why do you have such a problem with gay
I don't have a
people?
problem. I have a problem with you. Wait. No.
Crazy,
yeah, that is why I
man.
pause. There's a lot of people like you.
That's crazy.
There's a lot of people like you that are gay that that pretend they're not.
Black men can't be gay.
Black men that are gay should say they're gay.
I don't understand for the life of me. I'm not a man, but I don't understand why someone's masculinity would matter to a man that says that he's straight. The masculinity conversation was brought up by Dame Dash. Dame Dash didn't answer not one question straightforward. So this is just deflecting. And like I said, I'm gonna do a standalone video, but yo, Dame has really fallen off, and I don't mean financially, because he's in a whole world. He's always been in a whole world of financial trouble, and it just seems like he came onto the Breakfast Club to try to prove that he's not broke. He again 10 years later, he's insulting DJ Envy and Charlamagne for getting up early in the morning and coming to work and making a living. And one of the funniest things about this is Dame Dash was asking, he briefly asked Charlamagne about, like, are you rich? And Charlamagne was like, nope, playing dumb, which is, in this instance, it worked. You don't even realize that you're sitting next to somebody who has built generational wealth. Like, he didn't do his homework. He always tells people to do their research. And like I said, I don't care for Charlamagne. So me siding with Charlamagne is just, it's unusual. You know what I'm saying? But in this instance, I really do like the way that Charlamagne handled himself. Anybody that gets up and works to provide for their family, take care of their wife and children, take care of their entire household, and they're disciplined enough to get up every single day and work to make a living and to save for their children's future, I respect. Dame Dash started talking about he gets up whenever he wants to. He don't have to get up and be here at 4 o'clock. He started to insult the studio. This looks like a coffin. You know, it's dead in here. It's dirty in here. Go clean this studio up, girl. If you're a CEO or a self-proclaimed entrepreneur, I know personally plenty of entrepreneurs that get up at the crack of dawn, 3 o'clock, they up. Whether they're in worship, they're praying, they're working out, getting their day started, they don't sleep in. And these are entrepreneurs that have a track record of making money. So I don't know what Dame's trying to do, but the insults didn't work 10 years ago. And here it is. You are 10 years older in age, but it's almost as if you regressed. And I feel sorry for him. Let me just play this one last clip. Let me see.
You want to leave. You can't get in your emotions and want to leave, Dame.
What I'm saying is when you interrupt me and you say certain things, where I'm from, the masculine man will fuck you up.
Okay. That's where Dame starts being stupid. You see, like, this is what I'm saying. Like, who in their right mind would even sit and listen to him? And I'm a firm believer in you can learn from anybody. But Dame Dash pretty much threw a whole big temper tantrum on the Breakfast Club about being interrupted. He interrupted people. He contradicted himself. Lauren was able to ask, I think, like 3 questions. Jess asked 1 question. He deflected. He's defensive. Again, he insulted DJ Envy. He insulted Charlamagne. He said, I will beat you up. I will F you up, as you heard. Charlamagne said, well, we'll just be fighting. You see, when you're, like I said, this is just, ugh. Dang, bro. Imagine you're that bitter and hurt that you stay stuck. He was pointing at Charlamagne, saying, oh, you're fake laughing. You look like you want to cry. Look at you. Look at him. This is a 50-something-year-old man. And when he sat down, he wanted to set the rules of how the interview would go. No, wrong approach. It doesn't work that way. You're in their house. You're at the Breakfast Club's house. So they just let him talk. And then after him continuously being disrespectful, I think that's when Charlamagne started to like troll him and just basically let him know what it really is. You know, Charlamagne was being polite and he was just like, you know what, let Dame have it. You can't argue with somebody like this. You know, they think that they're winning the argument. You just let them have it. And it's a shame because I wonder the type of people that he has around him that's allowing this behavior. Who do you employ, Dame Dash? He had his artist there and the artist didn't get on the mic and say anything until the last maybe 2 minutes. And the artist wrote a diss track to 50 Cent and Cameron, a white girl. You got a white girl rapping and she put out a diss track to your ops and you're calling Charlamagne petty and feminine? Why couldn't you write and perform your own diss track? Anyway, y'all, that interview was really embarrassing. And it just proves that Dame Dash is and forever will be a pseudo intellect who is bitter and not man enough to pull himself up out of the failure and the mess that he created. You know, Michael Jordan, I think it was, that said that you pretty much have to fail your way to success. You know, failure is a part of success. And Plenty of people have failed their way to success, right? It's inevitable. It's going to happen. Trial and error. You make mistakes, you live, you learn. But the problem with Dame Dash, I think, and Charlamagne said this to him, see, you're materialistic. That's all you worry about. You talk about is material things. And now that you don't have those things anymore, you know, you're angry and you're stuck. I do believe that he's indeed stuck, and he's going to stay stuck because the way that the world is moving forward and moving fast, nobody got time to sit around and listen to Dame rant and rave and talk about what you used to do. That's the worst thing that you could be, is somebody who talks about constantly what you used to do while criticizing people who surpassed you and are doing what you wish you could do. So ladies and gentlemen, that's all I got. Ain't got no more. Like I said, I will do a standalone video on the interview at the Breakfast Club. I encourage you to watch it. If you can sit through it, I encourage you to get through the whole thing and just see how everything plays out. Shout out to La Rosa, yo. Lauren La Rosa really held it down. She did her thing. She basically was riding for her team as a whole. You could tell that she was getting a little bit annoyed. Just hilarious. She was just laughing at everything, and she just agreed with him. And she later on said that somebody like Dame Dash, she's not going to argue with. I get it. So drop down in the comments and share your thoughts. I'm signing off for now, but I will be back. Be sure to check the channel. If you don't get your notifications, check the channel for that standalone video, and be sure to check out the other content on the channel as well. All right. That's all I got, y'all. I'm signing off. I love you for watching, and I will talk to you later.